Coming up, the Southeast braces for Hurricane Matthew. Millions are told to evacuate as the Category 4 hurricane makes landfall on Florida's east coast and heads up the southern east seaboard while Caribbean islands clean up its destruction. Round one for the vice presidential candidates, Tim Kaine and Mike Pence faced off in their first and only debate this past Tuesday. And round two for the top of the ticket, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton face off again this Sunday in a town hall debate setting. Mustang World News starts now.
Reporters on Cal Poly's campus, this is Mustang World News.
Hello and welcome to Mustang World News. I'm Anna George. We begin today on the East Coast where millions of Americans in the Southeast prepared themselves for the most powerful hurricane to make landfall in more than a decade. The Category 4 storm took direct aim at Florida's west coast, but the storm is expected to hit the coast of Georgia and South Carolina as well. The governors of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina have urged around 2 million people to evacuate, the largest mass exodus since Hurricane Sandy made landfall in 2012 in the Northeast. Governor Rick Scott of Florida has called on the National Guard to stand by as the storm hits.
3,500 members of our National Guard. We're going to need our National Guard. This is a catastrophic storm.
With more on this historic storm and how residents are preparing, we go to Scott McLean.
The storm will kill you. Time is running out. We don't have that much time left.
Florida Governor Rick Scott is not messing around. Neither is Hurricane Matthew. The Category 4 hurricane has already killed more than 100 people in the Caribbean, most in Haiti. Today, it's barreling through the Bahamas, packing sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. Its next stop is the Florida coast, expected to make landfall early Friday.
There are no excuses. You need to leave. Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate.
2 million people in Matthew's path are being told to get out of the way. It's the largest mandatory evacuation since Superstorm Sandy in 2012. Officials are warning people the hurricane could destroy homes and cut power to millions, possibly for days, and first responders may not be there to help.
We're not going to be able to save you. There's a point in time where we're going to have to cease services because it'll be putting the first responders' lives in danger just to get to the call.
If they haven't left already, people up and down the coast are preparing for what's to come, leaving bare shelves at grocery stores and long lines at gas stations.
It is time to be 100% prepared. I'm just preparing to having all the fuel that I need for at least a week.
Coastal counties in Georgia are being evacuated today. And in South Carolina, Governor Nikki Haley says 250,000 people have gone inland so far, and another 200,000 could leave today. Airports in Fort Lauderdale and Miami have closed. Thousands of flights have been canceled ahead of the monster storm, and National Guard troops are standing by, bracing for the worst, but still hoping it won't come. I'm Scott McLean reporting.
Hurricane Matthew already made landfall on numerous Caribbean islands over the week. The most impacted were the nations of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, where over 100 people were killed. Matthew made landfall on Tuesday morning as a Category 4 hurricane near Les Angeles, Haiti. The country's Civil Protection Agency said at least 1,580 homes have been flooded, and about 2,700 families have been affected by Matthew. Haitian church pastor Louis Saint Germain said the storm sheared a wall off his house and tore roofs off many buildings in the area. More than 300,000 people are now in shelters across the country, said the United Nations. One of the storm's past residents could face risk from another threat, standing water. Haiti is still recovering from a post-quake cholera outbreak that killed 10,000 people. President Obama told the press that Haiti will need our help.
I want us to keep in mind that Haiti, one of the poorest countries in the world, already suffering from a range of previous disasters, has been hit really hard by this storm, and we anticipate that they are going to need substantial help.
The total damage of the storm brought onto the island nation won't be known for a few more weeks. Hurricane Matthew will likely be a topic of discussion in the next presidential debate Sunday. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump will face off at Washington University in St. Louis. Brianna Keeler has a look at how Hillary Clinton is preparing for the second round.
Hillary Clinton is spending another day off the campaign trail as she prepares for her second debate showdown with Donald Trump.
I'm looking forward to our next debate next Sunday. I thought the first one went pretty well.
While Clinton lays low, her campaign has two new ads hitting the airwaves.
I want a president who stands up against intolerance.
Portraying Clinton as the candidate who will stand up to injustice and fight for American families.
I've spent my life fighting for kids and families, and it'll be my mission to build a country where our children can rise as high as their dreams and hard work take them.
Though observers and polls show Mike Pence performed well at the vice presidential debate on Tuesday, Clinton is trying to divide the Republican ticket, joking that Pence failed to stand behind Trump's controversial statements, which Clinton called indefensible.
When your own running mate won't defend the top of the ticket, I think that tells you everything you need to know about who's qualified and temperamentally fit to be president. Even Mike Pence doesn't think Donald Trump is.
Tim Kaine joining that refrain, saying Pence threw Trump under the bus by not defending his running mate.
I think there's a level of desperation in the Trump campaign right now. Donald clearly did a very, very poor job at the debate, at his first debate. And then 2 nights ago, his running mate basically threw him under the bus again and again and again.
Clinton is getting some backup on the trail today from major surrogates as her daughter Chelsea campaigns in Minnesota, and Bernie Sanders holds 4 different events across blue-collar Michigan.
It is absolutely imperative that we elect Hillary Clinton as our next president.
And one of Clinton's best assets for rallying support, a popular President Obama.
This is not me going through the motions here. I really, really, really want to elect Hillary Clinton.
His approval ratings continue to climb. A new CNN ORC poll finds 55% of Americans now say they approve of the job he's doing as president, the highest rating of his second term.
With lessons learned from the previous debate, Donald Trump is also preparing for the match. Here's Phil Mattingly.
Call it a preseason game, just 3 days before the Super Bowl.
We have crowds like this all over our great country, thousands and thousands.
Today, Donald Trump holding a decidedly more low-key affair, a New Hampshire town hall, pulling back the curtain on the secretive world of debate prep in real time.
Remember that. So let's take a few questions.
A similar format to Sunday night's crucial debate, though moderated by supporter and talk radio host Howie Carr. It's a dry run his advisors acknowledge is increasingly necessary in the wake of a poor first debate performance, but one that follows a well-regarded showing by his running mate, Mike Pence, something Trump himself has taken credit for.
I'm getting a lot of credit because that's really my first so-called choice. That was my first hire, as we would say.
And advisors tell CNN they're hoping Trump can emulate, even as Pence continues to defer to the GOP nominee.
I really do think that whatever I was able to do the other night, that Donald Trump won the debate.
As Trump readies for debate number 2, advisors tell CNN he has been watching the videotape of his first meeting with Clinton. Tonight's debate dry run comes as Trump's campaign looks to boost his historically low favorability ratings with a new positive TV ad.
What does electing Donald Trump president mean for you? Families making $60,000 a year? You get a 20% tax rate reduction.
And as Trump himself pledges again not to bring up Bill Clinton's past infidelities, telling the New York Post he wants to, quote, win this election on my policies for the future, not on Bill Clinton's past. All as House Speaker Paul Ryan prepares to hit the trail with Trump in Wisconsin, a boost from the GOP's top elected leader. Still, Trump's own surrogates providing ammunition for Clinton, saying Trump's ban on Muslim immigration, which Trump himself has never publicly backed off of, doesn't stand.
Well, because it's not Donald Trump's position now. I'm proud to stand with him when he says that we need to suspend immigration from countries and territories that have been compromised by terrorism.
All coming as Trump on Wednesday night committed a swing state faux pas, pronouncing Nevada, Nevada.
It has to be Nevada, right? And if you don't say it correctly, and it didn't happen to me, but it happened to a friend of mine, he was killed.
Coming up on Mustang World News, the U.S. State Department severed diplomatic talks with Russia about the Syrian civil war. And police in Hartford, Connecticut release a video showing officers stomping on a man during a traffic stop. These stories and more when Mustang News continues.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
The vice presidential debate was held in Virginia Tuesday. Mike Pence and Tim Kaine battled it over Trump's tax returns, immigration, U.S.-Russia relations, and nuclear weapons. The match was so heated, there was a point where the candidates were talking over each other so much, debate moderator Elaine Quijano had to interject multiple occasions. A poll released after the debate found that Mike Pence won by a 6-point lead, with more on the only vice president's debate of the general election. The vice presidential debate is typically called the forgotten debate, but this year had many highlights. Here's Scott McLean with the day after report from the debate.
In what quickly became a fiery debate,
the thought of Donald Trump as commander-in-chief scares us to death.
The campaign of Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine has been an avalanche of insults.
The vice presidential candidates took shots at each other.
The Trump plan is a different plan. It's a you're fired plan.
I appreciated the you're hired, you're fired thing.
But the primary focus was the candidates who were not there. Donald Trump.
When Donald Trump says women should be punished, or Mexicans are rapists and criminals, or John McCain's not a hero, he is showing you who he is.
Senator, you whipped out that Mexican thing again.
And Hillary Clinton.
He still wouldn't have a fraction of the insults that Hillary Clinton leveled when she said that half of our supporters were a basket of deplorables.
At the end of the night, polling shows Republican Mike Pence had a stronger showing than Tim Kaine. A new CNN ORC instant poll shows that 48% of voters who watched the debate think Pence won, while 42% think Kaine came out on top. It's a clear contrast with how their running mates polled after their first debate last week, with Hillary Clinton coming out the winner.
A nation without borders is not a nation. Donald Trump is committed to restoring the borders of this nation.
On the economy, there's a fundamental choice for the American electorate. Do you want a you're hired president in Hillary Clinton, or do you want a you're fired president in Donald Trump?
Both parties will now focus on the next presidential debate this Sunday. In Farmville, Virginia, I'm Scott McLean.
Police brutality wasn't mentioned for too long in the vice presidential debate, but there are new allegations of police brutality in Hartford, Connecticut. The police there have released a video of a police officer stomping on a detained suspect after a car chase. Sherry Hardman has more on the story.
Some of the things you're going to see on video that are going to be disturbing are Hartford police officers.
Deputy Chief Brian Foley is referring to this dash cam video from a police cruiser showing officers with Hartford, West Hartford, and State Police at a scene following a stolen car chase on June 4th. The two suspects, driver Ricardo Perez and his passenger, Emilio Diaz, being removed from the vehicle, then allegedly assaulted by officers.
In that it was outside of our jurisdiction and in the hands of the state's attorney's office.
The video also shows one plainclothes officer, identified as the now retired Sergeant Sean Spell, a 20-year veteran of the Hartford Police Department, stomping on the head of one of the suspects.
Following morning, based on the appearance of solely of the mugshots at this point, as we weren't aware of the video at that point, we started an immediate internal investigation.
It's very troubling and heartbreaking to know that this is going on all over the country.
Annette Shack is with the Hartford chapter of the NAACP, one of the organizations that met with Hartford police today following the release of the videos.
It's not the first time it's happened in Hartford, and it's ongoing in Hartford, and we are always have to be vigilant about what's going on in our community.
Shack says they are glad to see the department is making every effort to be transparent by the release of the videos, but more work needs to be done to maintain the fragile relationship between the community and police.
I'm just hoping that they will complete this investigation, and from this investigation that we can see what Hartford, the efforts they've made in terms of community relations, and again to bring equality and justice for our community.
The heaviest part of this is the fracture that something like this, the fracture that it creates between us and our city.
With stories like police brutality in the election, the story of Syria's 5-year civil war still rages on. The UN is projecting a total destruction of the rebel-held city of Aleppo. The city has been under constant bombing and artillery fire, and the UN estimates more than 500,000 civilians have been killed. A recent ceasefire agreement disintegrated, and as a result, the U.S. and Russia have stopped diplomatic talks. State Department spokesman John Kirby told the CNN U.S. and Russia cannot work together to stop the war.
But you can't choose your own facts, and the facts are that the Russian military is aiding the Assad regime as it continues this devastating siege on Aleppo and continuing to kill innocent people who are simply trying to live a better life.
Amongst the chaos, there was once a place of peace. Fred Playton takes us inside a now abandoned secret library in the city of Aleppo.
For almost 4 years, this was the reality in Daraya, a suburb of Damascus controlled by the rebels but besieged by Syrian government forces. Amid the shelling, the shortages of food, water, and medicine, a space of quiet, of reading, of solace. A secret underground library. The chief librarian, a 14-year-old boy named Amjad. I liked the place and I liked learning things. I liked to read, Amjad told us. In August, the rebels made a deal with the Syrian government for free passage out of Daraya in return for government control of the district. We were one of the first crews to make it in after the evacuation. Amid the flattened and damaged buildings, all of a sudden, we noticed soldiers taking books from a basement. The former secret library of Daraya. Books strewn across the floor, many volumes already gone, but the order of a library still clearly visible. Almost during the entire time of the siege, the underground library here was a sanctuary, especially for the children of Daraya, many of whom would come here braving the dangers to read in peace. All civilians have now left Daraya, but we found the former librarian Amjad in a displaced camp outside Damascus. His eyes lit up when we told him we'd found the library. I would work for hours in the library, he said. I would go in at 1 and come back at 5. I was responsible for everything. For years, the library was the only escape he and the others had from the shelling that killed and wounded so many. Amjad is clear on just how special it was. I cried the last time I was there, he said. I used to love it so much. Daraya is now destroyed and abandoned. The underground library is gone, but it will always hold a special place for Amjad and the others, a quiet space in the hell they faced for almost 4 years.
Man covers his vehicle in over 51,000 pennies, and officer's act of kindness goes viral. Coming up after this break.
ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny. That's not a flower.
We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
2 months after the Olympic Games in Rio, officials announced Thursday Michigan's Attorney General is now looking into sexual abuse allegations against the USA Gymnastics trainer, Dr. Larry Nassar, because the case has crossed into several jurisdictions and possibly state lines. He worked with USA Olympic gymnasts and other athletes for almost 2 decades before he was fired on allegations of sexual assault. Nassar has his sports medicine practice at Michigan State until last month, when he was fired after police received almost 24 complaints from Nassar's former patients. The FBI is also involved in the investigation. A police officer shows warmth and understanding to a child having a very bad day and goes viral for her efforts. And a man uses change to change his car. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
An Indiana State Capitol police officer's random act of kindness is going viral after she comforted a young boy having a bad day. She was at a school rally when the boy fell to the floor and began crying. The child's mother said he's been doing this a lot lately, so the officer decided to get down on his level.
It's tough times right now, especially in uniform, and I see both sides of the fence, and I just want the children to understand that we love them, we care.
The picture has received an overwhelmingly positive response on social media. This guy's ride is money, baby. No, it's actually money. Larry Hall of North Carolina found an excellent use for his spare change. He used it to pimp out his ride.
It really gets attention.
Using a whole lot of glue and a whole lot of time, Larry covered his 2000 Chevy Blazer in more than 51,000 pennies. As you can imagine, the unique upgrade gets a lot of confused looks, but to Larry, it makes perfect sense. No cars needed for this drive-through restaurant, just a leash. A new Pennsylvania drive-through restaurant has opened, and it's just for dogs. Owners can pick from a menu of meats and veggies for their furry friends, and once they have their order, all they have to do is find a place to sit and stay. Good boy. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, that's Mustang News for this week. I'm Anna George. From all of us at Mustang News here and abroad, thanks for watching. Have a great day.